From the film Love and Monsters, I'd like to welcome Michael Rooker. Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Right on, my pleasure, guys.
Now, before we talk about Love and Monsters, you've portrayed so many great characters over the years. Let's talk a little bit about your earlier work. Now, reflecting back on when you first started out as an actor, what was your first professional role and what character types were you often casted in?
I was often cast in the guy with the gun, the thug on the street, the guy the guy that's taking something from you without permission. I did a number of small roles where I played I did a bunch of day playing jobs where I played cops, detectives, things like that. My first real film with any kind of real through line was Henry: Portrait of a Serial Killer, and
Yes.
that movie was my first movie with where I had a lead role, and it had a beautiful through line, and but I had tiny little gigs, theater gigs, TV stuff, little film bit roles. Hell, even when I was in school, I would cut class and go and pull cable for the local film guys, little independent stuff before I actually graduated from the Goodman School of Drama. And from there, I did theater and film. So there you have
Oh,
it.
wow.
That's the beginning.
Now, like I said, you've played so many great characters. I can't even name them all, but I mean, speaking of your earlier work, a meme that still keeps going around is your classic chocolate pretzel meme from the Mallrats when you played Jared Spenning. Super classic, still a classic.
Mallrats. What-
Yeah.
I just read a big article Kevin had written about the making of Mallrats just yesterday, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, what a crazy, crazy film that was. What a beautiful time too. Loved it. Loved every
Oh,
second.
so good. And then another great character that you've played was Merle from Walking Dead. And then, of course, there's Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy,
You
which
skipped, you
actually.
skipped ahead. You really skipped ahead. My goodness, girl. You skipped ahead.
Well, these are my personal favorites, to be honest with you.
Uh, Mississippi Burning, Rosewood, Days of Thunder. Name, name them.
There's too many of them. Now,
Oh,
with
yeah.
Yondu, okay, just because I'm talking about like Guardians of the Galaxy, what led to your being casted for the role of Yondu? I mean, did they approach you to play the role, or did you have to audition?
No, I actually auditioned, but James Gunn wrote the role for me, and so he had me in mind the whole time. The studio did not necessarily have me in mind the whole time, but James Gunn did, and so he wrote the role,
Nice.
and I had a grand time playing it, man. And all we had to do the tough job was to convince the studio that Michael Rooker's the guy to play this character, and luckily we did, and it ended up being really a fun experience. And me and James Gunn have been friends since Slither, actually, um, which was an awesome little movie as well.
And now you're fighting off monsters in the post-apocalyptic comedy Love and Monsters. Now, what caught your interest in doing this film?
Well, actually, the script was really quite nice. The script was, I thought it was very well drawn. It was something that I hadn't done before, even though I've been The Walking Dead, apocalyptic stuff, but I hadn't done this role before. I think Clyde was a nicely drawn piece, albeit it's a small piece of our movie, but it's really a very it's a central section of the movie that sets everything in motion. You know, physically, how Joel is able to complete his trek, his 80-mile trek, and so yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the character of Minnow, and so the relationships when we all three get together are just dynamic and beautifully explosive. I loved every second, every scene.
Well, wonderful, wonderful work. Unfortunately, we are out of time. But again, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Hey, thank you. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Michael and Lori. Love and Monsters is available on demand and digital.
For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit sidewalkstv.com.